Seriously, why are resellers, I'm talking about eBay sellers and Amazon sellers, mostly Amazon sellers, why are these resellers pricing items like idiots? Why are they doing it? And why do I look like an idiot? Well, I'm getting ready to get into the gym in a minute. But one thing that I've been struggling with and dealing with in my business is just the idiotic pricing strategies of other resellers, which is out of my control and it's out of your control as well. You know, for example, in my business, I source a lot of items off of eBay. I source a lot off of Amazon. I do a lot of online arbitrage, and my main business model right now is online arbitrage on Amazon. And how do you combat, how do you deal with finding an item that's profitable, right? So maybe you find a DVD or something. You know, I sell a lot of DVDs that's selling for 50, 60 bucks. The keeper charts look great. There's not a lot of sellers. And the next thing you know, that person who's, you know, the lowest price is 50. Now you got some idiot coming in and pricing it at 20, 25 bucks. How do you deal with this? How do you cope with, you know, resellers just pricing like idiots? And how do I deal with it? Because this is something I'm dealing with right now. So that's what we're going to talk about. What's going on, Kevin? What's happening, Mary? I'll be taking some deep breaths because I'm still recovering from, it's been a couple weeks from you know what. So I'm recovering. I'm feeling a little bit better. But I've been a bit under the weather right now. So what do you do when resellers price items like idiots? How do you manage it? How do you deal with it? But first off, let's talk about why do resellers do this? Well, I think a lot of resellers live in fear. They think that if they're not the lowest price, if they don't undercut everybody by 20, 30, 40%, they're not going to make the sale. And that's not the case. I mean, if you're buying an item that has a good market, if it's in good condition, if it's selling regularly, and you can check that easily on eBay by checking the sold listings. You can check that easily on Amazon by looking through the keeper charts or analyzing the sales rank, right? A lot of people, they live in fear. They think if I don't price it so low, I'm never going to sell it. And that's not the case. You want to price your items competitively. It's similar to real estate. How do you price your items? You price based on the competition on the market. A 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,700 square feet in this specific neighborhood, you price based on that. You could price a little less, you know, a tiny bit less. And there's different strategies for repricing, but it's very similar. You don't have to undercut 20, 30, 40%, but what do you do in that situation when the competitors are undercutting you like crazy? So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I do right now. First off, if I'm selling on eBay, this doesn't apply as much because on eBay, you have your title, which you could change. You have, you know, keywords. You have pictures, right? You have a description. There's a lot of things you could do to really stand out on eBay, but on Amazon, it's very price driven. There's not as many things that you can do to differentiate yourself as an Amazon seller versus eBay. So when I'm an Amazon seller and someone's undercutting me like crazy, what I'll typically do is if there's a good market where it's selling regularly, and again, look at the sales rank, look at the keeper chart, I'll price second, third, fourth in line. Now, keep in mind, depending on the sales velocity, if that item isn't moving very often, as in my example with DVDs, some of them might take, you know, they might only sell a couple times a month, or it might take 2 or 3 months for an item to sell, which is still worth it for me in certain situations just because the margins are so high. I'll just have to price second or third or fourth in line. Don't be scared to price second, third, fourth in line, especially if you're an eBay seller. I would never price the lowest if you're taking really good pictures and you're creating a great description and you have good keywords. You don't have to be the Walmart on eBay, but on Amazon, again, you know, it's very price driven. So don't be scared to price second, third, fourth in line. That's what I do sometimes. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, analyze the Keepa charts. Keepa is a Chrome extension, which essentially is like, it's kind of like a stock chart. You could take a look at the whole picture of your Amazon listing of that specific ASIN, and you could see how many times has that item had a sale over whatever specific period of time. You can also take a look to see how many sellers there have been. You can see, obviously, on the Amazon listing how many sellers there are. So these all are going to play a role in your pricing strategy. But it's unfortunate when somebody has to drop the market 20, 30, 40% because it's not necessary, especially on Amazon and eBay too. It's okay to undercut by a penny. The problem with undercutting by a penny is there's something known as repricers on Amazon. And these are little pieces of software that essentially battle each other out, you know, kind of like the battle it looks like I'm getting ready to go into in the gym in a minute. So if you're undercutting, a lot of times people will set the repricers to battle each other, and next thing you know, the price will drop like crazy. But if you have a listing that's at 50 bucks, you don't have to price it at 35 to get the sale, because what's going to happen is repricers, most people don't set up their repricers correctly. So the market's not only going to drop from 50 to 35 with that one seller, you're going to have other sellers whose repricers are going to chase it to 35. And now instead of having the floor at 50, now you're gonna have 5 people chasing it down to 35, and now the new market's 35. So you essentially are an idiot because you just killed the market. Depending on the sales velocity, the more an item sells, the faster it sells, the more often it has sales, the just the better market that it has. And of course, seasonality could play a role as well. The less this is gonna really matter, because even if the floor drops from 50 to 35 and there's 5 sellers that chased it down, if this item's selling 10, 15 times a month or more, the floor is gonna go back up once they sell out. So don't be scared of the idiots chasing each other down to the bottom. Let them sell out. And there's even opportunities as well via online arbitrage, if you're a buyer on eBay or Amazon, to buy out the competition and then price it at the new floor. It's a bit more advanced. I wouldn't recommend it if you really don't know what you're doing, but that's one tip right there. Number 3, this is the thing that I've been doing recently, and I've been having to do it more and more. So I buy a lot of items off of eBay. If you guys haven't been following me or you're new to my channel, I buy and sell a lot of items on Amazon, mostly DVDs, mostly board games, electronics. So what I'll do is I'll make best offers on eBay to eBay sellers. I'll buy via auctions. We'll communicate with eBay sellers. I hate to use the word lowball because I always try to make good offers, or at least my team does. I actually saw one of my teammates in the comments. What's up, Gia? But I'm having to lowball eBay sellers more and more now. Why? Because Amazon sellers are pricing so stupid lately. I don't know if it's the economy or if it's the inflation or all the prices going up or people are just spending less money. I don't know what's going on, but people are pricing. Who here has noticed that people on Amazon are pricing things like they're going cuckoo? Why are you dropping the market from 75 to 25? It's not necessary. People are living in fear. Resellers are scared right now, and I think it's because maybe people aren't spending as much money. I don't notice it. Let me know in the comments. Do you notice that sales are slower? Are items not selling as fast for you? Again, I'm not really selling on eBay now. I do have to get my eBay sales back up again because I have so much stuff. But the floor is just dropping out. And so essentially what I'm saying is I'm having to offer less than I want. Even though, say I'm going to sell an item for 60 and I'm willing to pay up to 25 for it, I'm having to offer them 15 or 17 because the floor is dropping out so quickly because people are pricing it like they're going cuckoo. And again, I would love to hear your guys' feedback if you've noticed that, or maybe it's just my market because I'm dealing with DVDs and items like that, but it's very interesting. So, excuse me, guys. Still got the stuff in the lungs, but yeah, I'm just having to pay less for items. So, you know, that's one tip. If the market keeps dropping, if the prices are dropping, if you can't rely on the prices you think you're going to get, pay less if you can. There's a lot of strategies to pay less depending on how you're sourcing. But for me, it's just offering less to sellers. All right. Number 4, fix your repricer settings so you're not chasing down the lowest price. Make sure you understand your repricer. I use Reprice It, and there's some different settings where your repricer won't chase a competitor less than a certain percentage. You could also set up various rules for ASINs and just different items. So get to know your repricer. You know, one of the biggest mistakes people make on Amazon is they don't really understand the repricer settings, and they just end up chasing down the lowest prices, and you lose your margin. You've got to make sure you have a strong, healthy margin. So just make sure you understand your repricer, whether you're selling books or you're selling DVDs or you're selling whatever. Understand your repricer settings. And the last tip I want to give, this is what I've been doing. I just had a meeting with my team recently. We're buying less quantity, so we're going more wide versus deep. Now, I never really go super wide with DVDs. Again, I'm just sharing what I sell. I sell DVDs mostly. This can apply to anything for you. DVDs don't sell as quick. They don't have as, they're not as hot as and popular as some other items. So maybe this doesn't apply to you. But we used to buy sometimes upwards to 3 or 4 of an ASIN. So for example, say I'm going to buy, some specific Storm Chaser DVD. Maybe it has a 60,000 rank. Maybe it's selling 5 or 6 times a month. Sometimes we would stock 3 or 4 of these items. And, we sell high-end DVDs. So sometimes we're spending $30, $40, $50, $60, $100 a DVD. So what I've been doing recently is only having my team stock 1 or 2 of an item instead of 3 or 4, just because I'm dealing with cash flow issues. And if we've never sold the item before, only stick to 1 item. Don't buy more than 1 of a specific ASIN unless we have a track history of that. Just because I'm noticing lately things are just sitting more and more because Amazon sellers are pricing like idiots. So those are just some of the challenges and some of the things that I'm doing, making sure my repricing settings are a bit better. I've been doing more manual repricing. I've been buying less quantities, so going more wide versus deep. I'm just having to pay less for items. I'm having to lowball eBay sellers more and more. Not that I want to. Usually I could pay such a fair price, but Amazon sellers are just pricing like idiots. Really making sure that we're analyzing the Keepa charts and analyzing the data that Scout IQ gives us. And sometimes we're having to price second or third in line, or we're having to chase down to the bottom to get rid of it because, again, we're dealing with some cash flow issues because things aren't moving as quick. So just wanted to share some tips, some things that I'm going through. Let me go through some of the comments. What's up, JD? Amazon is better for new inventory, but they don't do used items. We sell used items, but I agree. I think new stuff does sell better on Amazon. Captain Hinky is asking, is eBay or Amazon better to resell? I think it depends what you're selling. If you're selling like used clothing and stuff, obviously it's going to be eBay. Vintage stuff, eBay. There are, a lot of items that you're not going to find listings for on Amazon, like a lot of old vintage books and stuff. So eBay would be better in that situation. But with Amazon, I find that mostly all books, for the most part, sell better. If there's a listing on Amazon, anything new board games, DVDs, media, even a lot of vintage electronics, if there's a listing, does really, really well on Amazon. We sold what was it? It was a Sony cassette player, brand new. I had sourced for like $150. We sold it for like $300 recently. So you'd be surprised some of the things that sell on Amazon. But yeah, new, used, they all sell on Amazon as long as there's a listing there. The thing with Amazon is there's a lot more rules that you have to follow. eBay's more like the Wild West. You have more control over the listing. You can take pictures. You could put more specifics, more keywords. You could really differentiate yourself, where Amazon, it's very price driven. You're piggybacking on a listing. There's one listing and you're jumping on it, and you're one of the however many sellers there are. So it's really price driven. And if the item's new, you can't even put a description. What's the most amount of money someone has made a month selling books? Well, it depends what business model you're doing with books. There's a lot of business models. So are you talking about like thrifting? Or are you talking about bulk books? Because, I've interviewed people on my channel who have been doing millions of dollars per year with bulk books. My good friend Avery, he did 1.3 million last year with books. Greg Murphy, he did multiple millions with books with bulk. I just got a comment that I read earlier. It was a kid. He was like, what was he, 23 or 18? I don't remember, but he was doing like 8,000 to 15,000 a month, he said in the YouTube comment, selling books. But, I would say the average bookseller is probably doing like $5,000 to $10,000 a month of sales, like if you're going to go full time with it. And there's obviously ways to scale. Do you have any tips about what kind of items are good for reselling on eBay? All types of items, honestly. Go to my YouTube channel and type in Rake and Profit best niches. I have some really in-depth videos where I share. Shoes are great, clothing is great, electronics are great. I'm not really an expert with glassware and pottery and like all that stuff, but there's a lot of money with that as well. Ties, scarves, there's so many toys, toys are great. Do you open the box and check if an item works, if the item is new or sealed? No, because once you open the box, it's it's used. So one issue I've been dealing with lately with DVDs, because again, we source a lot of DVDs, is I've been getting DVDs that are brand new sealed. But you ever have a DVD that's new sealed, but it's like shaking inside? It's because it like falls out of place, and those could get damaged. So now we have a script that we send all of the people who are selling it. We send them a script before we pay and say, hey, if it has this issue, if it has that issue, if it has, you know, if the seal's all ripped and torn, or sometimes like the manufacturer will like dispose it and it'll like stick a hole through it. So we have like a script that kind of covers that. But yeah, if it's new sealed, you got to keep it new sealed, or else it becomes used. How's your real estate business doing? It's good. I have a property manager, so honestly, I just get the reports every single month. But rents have gone up significantly over the last couple of years. When I purchased those properties, the rents were around $1,000, $1,100, and now they're all up to around $1,500. So, what up, Dale? Yeah, I definitely want to do some more videos with Vinny, so hopefully they'll be coming soon. Do you know anyone who has employees for the Amazon book business? Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who have employees. Mostly it's the people who do like bulk books. So they're buying like liquidation, or they're buying from like Pallet IQ, or they have like sources of like recycling companies in a warehouse where it all comes through. A lot of the thrifters and stuff mostly are just one man, one woman shows. But if you use Scout IQ team mode, you can actually create like a, you could give like employees or contractors, whatever you want to call, access to Scout IQ, and they could scan, and they can't see how much money it's worth. It'll just tell them to pick it or pass it. So I know a lot of people do that as well. Does the market also work in Europe? I know there's people who do it out there, but I'm not entirely sure, like the opportunities that you have. JD says, I set the condition to used and then buy it now. Then I get that number listed. Then you can filter on solds. Very nice. What's the scanner app you use for scanning books or whatever? So the free app that I always use is Amazon Seller app. I always use that to double check to make sure the item's profitable, because all the other third-party apps like Scoutly and Scout IQ, I use Scout IQ, are pulling from, you know, Amazon's API. So sometimes the information isn't 100% accurate. But I use Scout IQ with a scanner to scan quickly, and then I use Amazon Seller app to just double check to make sure everything is good. All right, guys, I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and I got to get into the gym. Do you open the box and check? I already answered that. Is it still profitable to sell books? Yes, it is. Just going through some of the questions. I think that might be it. John, what's up, John? I'm having luck with hats right now. Yeah, hats are great. There's so many niches. Just go into your local thrift store and just start looking at the various items and start looking them up. You know, when I started with bicycles. You know, I sold around $20,000 that first summer with bicycles. And then wintertime hit and I moved to clothing, and I did that for years. Men's clothing, if you guys don't know, if you've been following me for a while. So there's a lot of different niches out there. Again, go to YouTube, type in Rake and Profit niches. I've moved throughout a lot of different niches over the years. You know, bicycles was big for me. Clothing was big for me. You know, now I'm doing a lot of media items. So it just depends based on, you know, your business model and what you're into. But there's hundreds of niches out there, hundreds. I just sourced my first items off of Whatnot the other day. It was actually some DVDs, and it was pretty good. I spent like, what was it? It was $1 per DVD, so I got 10. But then shipping was expensive. I was like, what the? Like, shipping was expensive. It was like $12 to ship DVDs. I'm like, okay, they made a lot of money on me with the shipping. I don't know if anybody knows much about Whatnot, but yeah, the shipping's kind of ridiculous. I don't know. I need to study Whatnot more, but I am fascinated by that. I think it's a really big opportunity to make money selling your stuff and also buying. But yeah, I sourced 10 DVDs, came to like, I don't know, $20 or something after shipping. And one of the DVDs was selling for over $100. So it was kind of like a lottery because I didn't know, like I wasn't able to scan them all. I just took a risk because they were like vintage DVDs and like a lot of like the horror DVDs. So I'm like, there's got to be one or two that make money, and it did. But yeah, Whatnot is very, very interesting for sure. So that's all I got, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much, Dale, for watching. Eric, JD, appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Again, sorry for looking like Rocky Balboa, but I'm getting ready to go in the gym, and you know, my voice is a little off because I've been recovering from you-know-what over the last few weeks, but feeling good. Want to send you guys some value and some love. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, leave a comment, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you. Bye.